Okay. All right. So now I'm back to sharing my screen, and I'm going to go ahead and pull up. So today's strategy is kind of like, what are we doing to get success for the future, for next year? We're at the end of this year. There's only so much we can do between now and Christmas. And so part of that is the strategy for next year, going into the first of next year. This is something that really should be started at right after Thanksgiving, but it's not too late at all. And this is the holiday cards. While it may seem like really benign and kind of expected, maybe you'll get lost in the crowd. I promise you, as many people that preach about this is 10 times more that don't do it. So what I'm saying to you guys, if you're trying to get prepared for 2024 and you want to go in there with like a load of leads, then try to get out as many holiday cards as possible. So what we're going to be doing is preparing a list of all your past clients, even if we're talking past clients for if you've been doing this for a while, 10 years ago that you've lost contact with. That doesn't mean that you have to engage them and have this really long conversation with them, right? If you're just touching base, you want to see, all right, are they still at that same property? Are they, even if they're not, that doesn't mean you've lost them as a client. You do want to still touch base. So try to look them up and then put them on your list of people to call of, hey, I just want to make sure that I still have the right mailing address for you. I'd love to send you something in the mail. We're having stuff done in the room next door, so don't mind the beating on the walls. So anyway, so you want to make a list of past clients, but the past clients also need to include family, friends, past workers, favorite vendors, and then people you'd like to work with. So like for me, because I also run a construction company, the other people that I would like to work with are different insurance agencies that I know that could provide work for me, or possible leads in the future. So these aren't always people that you've done transactions with. It's people that you'd like to work with as well. And that could be anybody. So you start making that list, because this is really the least amount of money out of pocket. You're talking about who would you spend $1 marketing to, or $1.50, so whenever you put it like that, as far as your marketing dollars, with the amount of money that you end up putting, if you're marketing or trying to market yourself, if you're trying to do Google ads or social media ads or anything like that, that's a whole lot more money for less return. If you're sending the holiday cards, we're talking about $1.50, per person that you're sending it to. Are they worth $1.50? So put those people on your list. And those are the people that you're going to send a card to. And I would suggest getting bulk cards from Walmart, Sam's, Costco, wherever you're, Amazon, wherever you're getting your bulk cards from. And then that's what you're going to use. You're not writing a personal letter in every single one of those cards. This is where I would say ChatGPT comes in handy. And if you haven't downloaded, I know a lot of people have some apprehension against the AI technology that's out there, but if you're not one of those people, it is a huge time saver. I use it all the time now. So I would definitely say try to put together your letters in ChatGPT, let them revise it, because you could do one letter and this letter is going to be personal. It's just about your wins, what you've been up to. You don't want to make it salesy. That's not what we're trying to do. We're not trying to win your business right this second. What we're trying to do is reconnect and make sure you know what we do for a living. That's all you're doing is, and if part of your wins is this has been the most successful year and the most busiest year of my career, great. 2 sentences, move on. We're talking about your personal life. You're engaging them, telling them about yourself and what you're proud of, whether that's your kids or you just got a new pet or whatever you want to share with them, but make it as personal as possible, because we definitely don't want to come across super salesy. Again, if it was a client for this past year, then obviously you're wishing them a happy first Christmas or holiday in your house. I personally don't go with Christmas cards because there's a lot of different religions out there, as we know, and I go with happy holidays. This is a festive time of year. Even if they don't celebrate Christmas, they're most likely getting together with family or friends during this time period. So I do a holiday card. I try to share as much about me as possible and my family and what I've been doing and my big wins. And if it's a vendor and you're in Chat GPT, like you can literally copy and paste your letter, put it in there, and then say, revise this letter for a business client. And it will give you a whole different version. Those versions, you want to use those different versions depending on who you're talking to. So if it's a past client, an acquaintance, then maybe it's a different one. But if you have to write them all, type them all yourself, then so be it. But I'm telling you, Chat GPT is a time saver like no other. Anyway, once you have all of those letters written, then when you print them off, I suggest printing them in a different colored, something festive, whether it's Christmas paper or it's just a different color of paper, just so it stands out. You're still putting it inside of a card, but it's something that falls out. They're going to read it. And a lot of people are like, they're never going to read my stuff. If it's personal, they are going to read it. If you think about like how many people out there watch reality TV shows of people they don't even know, but they're interested in what the heck other people are doing. Most of our TV shows out there currently are some sort of reality TV show, whether it's HGTV or something else, wacky. One of my favorites is Amazing Race. I just like that because it has to do with travel. But anyway, make sure that you tweak each one for each individual client, whatever category they fall into, print those out and send them out. And you want to send them out as quickly as possible. We'd like them to get there sometime in the holiday season. So I'd really say starting now, this week, go ahead, make your list, and then put together the 3 or 4 different letters. Get those printed out and start addressing. Get your kids to work in addressing them. I know both of my kids are going to be home. They're going to be addressing envelopes. But that's just to remind everybody, hey, I'm here and I'm ready to do business. Don't forget about me. Because I don't know about y'all, but I've been in this for about 20 years. And I can say that there's probably been a handful of clients that have ended up buying or selling with somebody else. And when they do that, it's usually my fault. It's usually my fault that I did not engage with them. I did not keep up with them. I didn't do any of this stuff. And that ongoing relationship and that ongoing reminding people that we're here is important. And then once you get those sent off, then we're going to turn around and reach out to them at the beginning of January. So you make sure that you get them all sent off, and you make sure you have your list of people there ready and waiting. And then you're going to do a follow-up phone call in January. Hey, just wanted to make sure that you got that card that I sent you. I just want to make sure that we don't lose touch again, or wanted to make sure that we keep in touch because, I'd like to keep you in, I'd like to remain in your line of sight. I'd like to keep in relationships with you. I'd like to, love to hear about what's going on with you and your family, or if you've done anything new to the house, whatever you have to do to keep that conversation going. And I think in January, what we'll probably end up doing is a follow-up at the beginning of January. We'll do some scripts, run through some of those scripts of what that should sound like. And we can do some role playing and practice those scripts, because I know people get very apprehensive about calling. It's nerve-wracking. I understand. It used to give me hives to cold call, but these are not cold calls. These are friends, family, and people that you have done business with. And if it's the people that you haven't done business with, yes, it's a little bit of a cold call, but now they're warmed up because you gave them a card. So now they're like, oh yeah, that's the person that sent me a card. Yeah, I remember you. Yes, we did get that. Thank you. Because if you're calling to check up on a card, people are receptive to that. They're open to conversation. They're like, oh, well, that was a nice job. Absolutely. Yeah, thank you very much. It's not going to be like, no, I don't really want to talk to you. You're trying to sell me, because you're not calling with a salesy call either. So that's basically what I wanted everybody to get started on the retail side of things, that to make sure that y'all are doing these things. I'll follow up with sending y'all just kind of this call to action bullet points, so that you remember what exactly you're supposed to do and to do it. They'll also be up on our website, so on the back page, so that if you need it in future, whatever, if you want to share it with one of your team members or anything like that, then that's available. Besides that, though, I know that right now we are dealing with, I mean, me personally, I'm dealing with a lot of agents, or not a lot of agents, a lot of clients that are not really that interested in doing business prior to the end of the year. So not doing business prior to the end of the year is a pretty standard, response right now, as far as listing, or I'm just going to wait. I'm going to wait until those interest rates go down. I'm going to wait till the spring. That's when everybody puts their house on the market. So there are some role play and there's some scripts that we've put together to have those discussions and to kind of rebuke that pushback, which I think is important that we go ahead and we talk through those things. If anybody is interested in role play when it comes to dealing with clients and dealing with these scripts, then definitely let us know prior to these calls, because what we'd like to make them, what we'd like to see happen is that they're just way more interactive, where you're letting us know, all right, this is the pushback I had recently. Can we walk through this? Recently I had somebody say, no, the interest rates are too high. I don't want to list right now, because then I'd have to buy with these interest rates. Yes, the interest rates are higher. They did just come down a notch, but you also don't want to do it when it's down low again, because then everybody's going to be shopping. Then we're going to be back into the position where you can't find a house without bidding over. Would you rather get into a house right now that you can get at a decent price, where you have some negotiation power, because now sellers understand that they have to negotiate on the price of their home, or any type of, or repairs or things like that. So now it's a better time for negotiating. Whereas before, when the interest rates were so low, this was not a good time for negotiating. There were zero negotiations made. So it's kind of a give and take, but there are pros and cons to both sides of that. And that is something that we can approach, and we can move forward with scripts on trying to combat. Obviously, you're not combating the clients, because we're never arguing with the clients. It's always, we understand. I get where you're coming from. Did you think about this, though? And so it's more of an informing and educating conversation, not a combative conversation, because you do want them to feel heard, and you do want them to feel like they're being understood, and that you're not trying to sell them. You're just trying to explain there's a different way of looking at things, and it might be beneficial to them to move in this direction now rather than waiting. So all of these things, like I said, we've been working on building these scripts and putting together this material so that it will help all moving forward. And then we want to make sure that we're having these role plays on a regular basis and at least once a month addressing the retail side of things, and then once a month addressing the investor side of things. So if there is anything that you guys would like to see, hear, or discuss in these calls, then let me know. If you're listening right now, feel free to throw it in the chat, because I would love to work around some of those things, and just know what y'all need, because at this point it's more of a discussion trying to figure out what y'all's needs exactly are, because everybody has different wants and needs, whether you're on the investor side of things or you're on the retail side of things. And several of y'all are on both. So whatever you think is the most valuable to y'all, we'll go ahead and put at the forefront of our curriculums and of the discussions that we're going to have in the future. But like I said, our goal is to have 2 Zoom calls per month without the technical difficulties. And then we'll discuss retail and investment side and switch them off. Do y'all have any input or anything that y'all would like to see discussed in the future? Hello. If y'all want to throw it in the chat and then I'll look at it, that would be fine as well. And the chat button is right down at the bottom of your screen. It should be near the center. Is it near the center on yours, Nelia?
It's next to participants.
Next to participants.
For me.
Gotcha. If y'all have any input after this call, then y'all feel free. Every single one of y'all have my cell phone number, so feel free to shoot me a text or you can email. Like I said, this was mainly to try to get all of my retail agents to take action so we can have a really strong first quarter. And this is the first action that I'm saying, let's go ahead and take. It's really hard during the holidays to get really super proactive just because there's so many distractions. But that also means that if you're taking action in this month, that you're probably in the 5% that are, because I would say most of the realtors out there during this month take this month off. Pretty much. They just check out. So if you want to get ahead of the game and go ahead and get that first quarter kind of full of, these are the people I need to touch base with, these are the people I need to talk to, then this is what I'm suggesting. All right. As Rose said, is saying that scripts in general would be beneficial. Awesome. Yeah, so the scripts, and we can do this on the retail and the investor calls, we'll just say this is the script that we're working with, and I'll make sure that whenever we do the Zoom invite that we say these are the scripts that we're working on. So you have an idea of what you're coming into and what we'll be working on. And then if you have any techniques that you've used, then you can bring that to the table as well. So the whole thing is to try to make this as interactive and beneficial to everybody involved as possible. And then in addition, what I'd like to do is in the last couple of years, what I've done is I've been with Sharper, which is a coaching coaching platform. They're the ones that really have gotten me super laser focused on like my business, whether it's the brokerage business or it's the construction business, but it's helped me set those goals and get to where I felt like I needed to go. I mean, obviously that's a daily, that's ongoing, something that you have to do, but I had never prior to that actually looked at my business and gone, okay, this is where I want to be in a year. And then how do I get back to what do I need to be doing every single day to get there? So our goal at the beginning of January is to provide everybody with, okay, here's kind of the platform. Well, it's not a platform, but give y'all the spreadsheets of, look, this is what we're going to do for a year. You put down what your goals are for that year, and then we're going to break it down into quarters and then break that down into daily. And then if you want to have some sort of checks and balances, or you want some sort of accountability, then you can share that with us and we will hold you accountable. If what you're trying to say is, I'm doing 30 cold calls per week, then I will hold you accountable. If you're saying I'm doing 1 hour per day, I'm holding you accountable, and we can have those accountability calls or emails to make sure you're being accountable to the goals that you set for yourself so that you get there by the end of the year. To me, the accountability is really the thing that makes me show up, because if I set those, don't get me wrong, I set goals and I have my list and I check stuff off all the time, but there's certain things like cold calling that will get pushed to the end of that list and then put on the next list and the next list and the next list, so that it's constantly, I'll do that tomorrow, unless I have somebody to be accountable to and I got to show up and go, yeah, I didn't do my homework. For some reason, that just makes me do my homework. So if that's the way you are and you need that accountability, we're happy to be here for that. But we will get those spreadsheets together. We'll send those out to everybody. And if that's something that you want to be a part of, that will be a January call so that you'll fill those out prior to, and then we'll walk it back so that we know, all right, in order to get there, what do we need to do today? What do we need to do every day this week in order to make next week's goals and next week's goals? So that's kind of the goal, is to make sure that everybody's kind of hitting their targets and you have the support system here if you'd like it. And then Azaro, is there certain scripts? I know you said cold calling in general, because I know cold calling in general is not my favorite either. I know if I make time for it and I start making those calls, each one gets a little bit easier. But is there certain scripts that you're most interested in? Whether it's, are you wanting to sell your property, owner finance? Is it just listing of a property? FSBOs? Okay.
Most of mine, so I do referrals on like sold.com, HomeLight, a few others. So it's getting to that initial listing consultation,
Yeah.
And I'm sure you're familiar with some of the referrals. They'll refer an agent or 3 and an investor or 3. And I'm like, well, I'm both, so I can work with that, but I don't know what they tell these people before I get the referral. So when I call and I'm like, yeah, this is Azar Moore, such and such referred me, they're like, what? No. And getting over that barrier of, why are you calling me even though it's supposed to be a referral, is my most difficult thing right now.
Okay. All right. So FSBOs and getting over the initial referral. Okay. Well, those are definitely some that we can attack moving forward. And then, just so y'all know, expireds, we just held one with another coaching group that I'm a part of, which is part of the reason why I wanted to start doing this for us, because I think it is so beneficial and I can see the benefit that I'm getting from just the role playing. Whenever we bring these scripts to you, scripts are just scripts, right? They're just, here on paper, and if I read them off to you, I'm not winning you. But if we're sitting here and we're role playing, then everybody gets a better feel for it. And so I just want y'all to be aware that when we bring these scripts and we do the role play calls, we're going to bring the role play in, or the scripts in. You can take a look, and then it's like, hey, Nelia, you're going to be the buyer. All right. I need this person to be the agent that's trying to get this buyer, you know, or you're the FISBO, you're the for sale by owner. Zalika, call them, you know, ring, ring, and then we go through the role play. So just know when you're getting on these calls, I'm expecting y'all to get involved. And then that way it's kind of a safe place for us as well, that if there's mistakes, nobody's picking on anybody. It's all to just, you know, sharpen us, make us better at those calls. You know, there's several calls that I've gotten on where we're doing these role plays and somebody totally misses the mark. And they're like, look, you know, we're not beating you up, but here's the list of things you could have done better. So let's try it again, you know, and it's not that, you know, nobody's being targeted or put down for their way of communicating. It's just nerves get in the way, right? Even in this space when it shouldn't. This is all of us just trying to be better. So what I'd like this space to be is we're trying to be better, and it's like a free-for-all. Make sure that the communication is flowing and it is a back and forth. And on those role plays, if I pick you, it's only because nobody's volunteering. So if you don't mind being picked, then let me know so that you can be the icebreaker moving forward. But that's really all that I have today. I just wanted to put those things out there, kind of tell y'all what to expect moving forward. And like I said, I just would like us to become a lot more of a community, in that we're talking and we're helping each other, and we know what all of us do, you know. I don't do seller financing. Pick you. I'll pick you, Derek. Don't tempt me. I will. But I don't do seller financing, but I know the agents of mine who do, so I can refer that over, you know. That's something that I feel like all of us need to know, is who works down in Austin. Cindy's on the call. She works down in Austin. Most of the people on this call are in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Oh, Marion, she isn't in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Marion's down in Austin. Yeah. And so we've got 2 Austin calls right here, or 2 Austin agents right now that are on the call, which is awesome. And so if y'all have anything down in Austin, y'all know that we've got people on the roster that can take that on for you guys. So this is also a chance for you to get to know the other agents, because even though it's 2 different brokerages, there is, you know, there's not a barrier there, you know, they aren't in competition with one another. So I just want y'all to get to know one another, and for all of us to be more of a resource for one another right now as well. Because as you can tell, things are not falling from the heavens like they were. You can't just go outside and somebody needs a realtor. Things have changed, the environment's changed, and we will start to see quite a few agents fall off, go back to 9-to-5s and things like that. And I'd like for all of y'all to stay in this game, because I have to say that 2008, when I was in this space and the rug was yanked out from underneath me, I had only been in real estate a few years, and I was like, do I need to go back to a regular job? And the way that I was able to stay in this is through investing, through investors and investing. So that's where my pivot came in, and that's how I ended up investing in real estate, and getting really involved in a lot of investor events, because those were the only people picking up properties in 2008 and 2009. So anyway, all of that to say thank y'all so much for being here today. And I appreciate y'all logging on. I know, like I said, several of y'all, this isn't something that speaks to your business specifically, but I did want to tell y'all what's coming and what I am trying to provide. and hope that y'all will get involved in the future Zooms. Thank y'all. Y'all have a good day.
Thank you. You too.